For as long as I can remember, I've always wanted to hire a catamaran or take my own boat to explore the magical Whitsundays region in North Queensland. After 12 months of planning, my wife and I towed my 7-metre Riptide boat 15 hours north of Brisbane, where we would live on board the boat and use the beautiful Hamilton Island as a base when needed. After launching the boat at Barrier Beach, we opted to put the car and trailer into some secure parking with Whitsunday parking and storage at a cost of around $350 for 10 days. From Barrier Beach, it's around a 35-kilometre boat run to Hamilton Island Marina, and with 30 knots of southeast wind blowing, I timed our run over on the top of the tide to avoid wind against current, this making the run even more unpleasant. Although the many islands protect you from the wind, there are some sections that are open to the elements, and we did experience some rough conditions, but nothing that was dangerous or concerning. Arriving at Hamilton Island, you simply call the marina on the VHF radio, where you check in and receive your marina berth location. The marina concierge will greet you and help you moor your boat if required. We booked the marina berth a year in advance, and being that it was school holidays, I would highly recommend booking as early as possible, as the marina was fully booked during our stay. With the wind continuing to blow for a couple more days after our arrival, this gave us a great opportunity to explore Hamilton Island and use the resort facilities which are included in the hiring of the marina berth. Although golf buggies are a great way to get around the island, they were fully booked out and cost $140 a day, so we opted for the free bus shuttle service that runs around the island every 15 minutes. With many companies holding their annual conferences at Hamo, you also get to watch some pretty impressive fireworks displays that are often put on. Well, after blowing 20 to 30 knots for the last 2.5-3 days, we finally get to go out. It looks like we've got a 3-day window before it comes through and blows another 30 plus knots for 5 days straight. So this could be our only chance to get out and have a look around. Can't wait. Had enough of using the facilities here at Hamo. We've been in the pool, done a lot of drinking, enjoyed some good dining, but now it's time to go out and enjoy the Whitsunday. So can't wait, see what today brings. Really old fossilised shells in this rock. It's everywhere through. There's another one there. Look at that. Wonder how old that'd be. Saw that fish on the sounder come up to eat the jig.
Is it edible?
Lauren wants some lunch. She said before we go into Whitehaven, let's give me a fish for some wraps. So pressure was on. Ran over a tiny little rock there and thought I'd have a drop.
What is it?
Alright, we'll see if it's edible though. Oh, it's a nice tusk. Yeah. Nice. There we go, nice little black spot tusky on the mustard wingman jig. Little tiny rock there, just ran over. Lauren wanted a bit of fish for lunch, put on some wraps, so we're going into Whitehaven now and thought we'd get a quick fish before we head in there, and bam, worked straight away. How good. Such a pretty little fish and very tasty. After spending the morning looking around some of the outer islands, we made our way into the beautiful Whitehaven Beach and anchored on the northern end at Hill Inlet. The water was simply amazing, and the bright white sand is said to be some of the most pure sand in the world, consisting of 98.9% of pure silica. I quickly filleted, skinned and boned the black spot tuskfish. Lauren coated it with some seasoning before frying it up for some delicious fish wraps. After lunch, we made the 20-minute walk up to the famous Hill Inlet lookout, where the view was absolutely stunning. While running between the outer islands that morning, I ran across this structure that looked a lot like a wonky hole with fish sitting in it. A wonky hole is an underwater spring that exits through the sea floor and is commonly found from central to North Queensland between the mainland and Great Barrier Reef. Looks like a wonky, drops away into a hole, heaps of fish sitting in it. Saw an indentation there and thought, come back around, and yeah, it looks like a wonky. Fish on. Couldn't get a touch on the lures. Tried jigs, plastics, vibes. Just put a little bit of that guts and a little bit of flesh from that black spot tuskfish I caught before. Quickly threw it on. Dropped down just to see what's going to be biting, and picked up something small. Little nanny guy. Thought we might have a few of these guys here. Look at that. Little fella. Little fish. See ya, buddy. Alright. Little fellas. Not wanting to catch more undersized nanny guy, we headed north around Hook Island and into Macona Inlet, where we'd anchor for the night. This was a beautiful inlet, and I managed to get the boat into a nice little cove where we spent the afternoon having a drink and watching the sun go down over the island mountains. The next morning we woke up in glassed air conditions and the birds' chirps echoing through the mountains. After a quick look at the coral reefs in the inlet, we made our way out and headed for Manta Ray Bay, which is located on the northern point of Hook Island. Manta Ray Bay is a protected habitat area known for its exceptional marine life and great snorkeling. The downside to this spot is you can't anchor here, and you must use the designated mooring buoys that are situated in the bay. Unfortunately, there's only about half a dozen moorings, and if you're not there early, there's a fair chance you'll miss out. Hello, buddy. You're very lucky you're in here, mate.
It's like an aquarium.
Wow. How was your snorkel at Manta Ray Bay, babe? How did it go?
Well, I got covered in jellyfish stings, so really, really shit.
Let's come to Manta Ray Bay for a bit of a snorkel. There's probably a reason why they tell you to wear stinger suits, because we got absolutely flogged. Got in the water for 5 minutes and both of us got absolutely caned by them. We got marks all up and down our legs, across my stomach, my arms. Character building. Hopefully they're not nasty ones.
Pretty fish.
Lots of pretty fish, big GTs, big humphead Mary wrasse. Unfortunately, when I put the drone in the water, they take off real quick. They hate it. So one GT I managed to get a little bit of footage of. He was a little bit more gamer than the others, but would have been nice to get some close-up footage of those wrasse. They're beautiful. Beautiful bay, but absolutely magnificent. With the wind and seas dying out late morning, I decided to take Lauren out to the reef for a quick look and also see if we could catch some dinner. Sitting on 30 knots had us out there in no time, and it wasn't long before we had some rod bending action. Oh, look at that for a trout! Oh yes!
Is that a good fish?
Yeah. That's a horse trout, though. Yep.
It's a fat fish.
Work, babe.
Yeah.
It's a nice trout.
Oh, thank you.
It's above average.
Silver.
Tusky. Venus tusk.
Is that what we ate yesterday?
Yep.
Oh, nice.
There we go. First fish out on the reef. So we went to Manta Ray Bay this morning to have a snorkel with all the fish. Such a glamorous day, we just couldn't resist coming out a little bit wider to the reef. Come out to the first reef. We haven't got a lot of fuel, so I can't come out and do the wide runs out a bit further where there's some bit more virgin ground, but first fish, Lawrence dropped down and nailed this beautiful coral trout. It's her first one, and not a bad one to start the count. Well done, sweetie.
Thank you.
That was awesome. As soon as she got there, nailed her. That's cool. Got an iodine brim, so I've just used some flesh baits off it. And I said to Lauren, I'll just throw you a fairly big chunk of it on. Trout can't resist it. He's a beauty. We wanted a few fish for lunch and dinner tonight, so Lauren got the trout and I got a nice Venus tuskfish on the jig. We'll go back and do a couple more drifts over and see what else we can find. We can't keep many fish, so don't have the esky space or anything for them. Well, there's my little tusky that I got on the jig. Little tasty fish, that one. Just working it fairly slow. Tiny little lifts up off the bottom, with half a crank to a crank of handle on the reel, and bam. Hopefully get a few trout here as well. See how we go. Oh, you're on. Yes. That's a good one too. Holy mackerels, mate. That's big. It's gone in the reef, has it? You're right. It's gone in your, yeah, it's got you in the reef. Yep. Right. Yeah, he's in the reef. Slow, get that way out. No. Oh, that line will be all frayed. Oh, I can feel it. Oh, just gonna have to get it up a fraction. Alright, I'll just back your drag over here. Keep winding, quick. Yeah, stop. Yeah, that's right. Good work, baby. Next drop, bam. Went straight back into the reef. I let a heap of slack line out, put a bit of tension on it, popped out. Feels like a pretty good fish, whatever this is. Oh yeah, look at that. No way. Yeah.
Funny colour.
Yeah.
Whoa, Jesus.
Look at that. Well done. How good, eh? You just keep upsizing. Look at that. Beautiful trout.
What's all that?
Yeah, he's been in the reef. There's a few marks along the side of him here. That was lucky.
Ooh.
Very lucky to get that fish out. It's a cracking coral trout. You gotta stop fishing, eh? Can't even get a line in. That's awesome. Well done, baby.
Thank you.
That's unreal. Yes.
Hard work, hey.
Oh yeah. That's what you come to the Great Barrier Reef for. Beautiful coral trout like that. I don't have no marks out here or anything. Just come to an area, I thought, have a look. It's one of the closest reefs to Whitsundays, and sure enough, found the fish on the sound, a bit of bait there with it, a little bit of structure, dropped down and we're catching quality fish. Well, you blokes up here are spoiled, I tell you. Catch fish that easy, it's crazy. Happy days. What a day. Glamour. Oh yes, oh that's a good one. Oh my god, that's gonna get ya. That's alright, just keep going, that's it. Don't high stick, don't go up too high.
I want it to go away, boss.
Lots is killing me on the bait. Here it comes. What do you got here? It might be a big red throat. Yeah, it's a big red throat. Shark, shark, shark.
Quick, babe, do it.
Nice one. There we go, Lauren's first RTE. Beautiful red throat. Lovely colours in that fin. Went pretty hard, didn't it?
It did.
Shark was fair behind it the whole way up. It was nipping at it, but it somehow missed. You could see it come up under the boat. It's a beautiful Great Barrier Reef red throat.
I love those ones.
Very tasty. And yeah, that red, it's just such a cool red in those fish. He's lost a bit of colour now. Beautiful. Well done, sweetheart.
Thank you.
We'll get another one. No shark, Colin. There we go. Mine got a shark straight away. There it comes. Whoa.
Oh.
Little grass. Good work. Oh, not so lucky. Ah, come here, you bastard. Oh, it burnt me thumb.
Oh.
Get out of there.
I can't really in the water there.
Silly. Well, let's end that. Oh my god. After a quick fish, we drove around looking at the maze of coral reefs in glamorous conditions and crystal clear water. Wow. How clean is that? Beautiful, isn't it?
It's amazing.
With the afternoon getting on, we headed back into the Whitsunday Islands and spent the night in Nara Inlet, which is located on Hook Island. This is another great anchorage with plenty of protection from multiple wind directions. With one more day of good weather forecasted, we made an early getaway and headed back to Hamilton Island for a quick refuel. Fuel prices were pretty good at $2.36 a litre for unleaded, and I had the pleasure of catching up with Greg Haynes from the Haynes Group and Princess Boats while I was refueling. After a fast refuel, we headed for the Lindeman group of islands on the southern end of the Whitsundays. This is another beautiful part of the world, with many islands hosting a range of rocky headlands, coral reefs and sandy white beaches. We also visited the old Club Med resort, which was damaged badly by Cyclone Yasi in 2012. Due to the damage and age of this resort, it was shut down, and it's an eerie feeling walking through the remains of this once thriving resort. Anyone for a swim? It's a bit funky. That's beautiful. Go for a dip, babe.
Okay. Look at the old checker style.
Tiles in it. Would be a nice view at some stage. We continued our way around the Lindeman group, stopping off on a beautiful beach on Shore Island. With so many beaches around the Whitsundays, we rarely saw other people on them, and this made for a peaceful experience and plenty of nudity. Just kidding, kids. You can stop cringing. Big one, eh? Crack. Oh, Green Beacon, the New South Wales government. It's come a long way, that one. Caught up in the ocean currents and eventually ended up on this island. What a spot. After the beach, we made our way around to Maher Island, which had some wicked rock formations that we spent a few hours exploring. How cool is that? This is Maher Island. It has this massive big cave-like bridge through it. It's on the eastern side of it. I think you can go around the other side, there's a bit of sand, but being low tide at the moment, we've got to wait for the tide to come up to get to that. We'll have a little bit later before this weather comes through. Absolutely stunning. After an awesome day of exploring the Lindeman Island group, we headed back to Hamilton Island as the wind change started to push through. Well guys, we got 3 awesome days of weather in. We had an absolute blast. We probably had to rush around a little bit more than we wanted to, just for the fact that that window was looking like it's going to be it for us. Strong southerly changes come through and it's blowing with 30 plus knots, and it looks like it's going to do that for the next 7 to 10 days. So a bit unfortunate, but still thankful that we got those 3 beautiful days in and we got to explore the whole of Whitsundays. So awesome time. We'll definitely be back next year, that's for sure. It's beautiful here. I think having the marina berth and everything we've done has just worked out perfectly. The fact that we've got water so I can hose everything down, fill up our drinking water. I can use the flush port on the outboard, so I can flush the outboard when we get back. We got power, so run a lead straight into the boat. That's been awesome, so we can run our phones, chargers, kettle, toaster. I've got a Victron Energy Smart Charger hooked up as well at all times when we're here. That's just keeping the batteries charged. That's actually a really cool battery charger because you have an app on your phone so you can keep track of what's going on. That's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, it's just really handy to do that. We've got the fridge freezer going, so that runs off the power, and as soon as we go out I can hook it up to 12 volt. We're using the freezer itself with all our food, so basically we've pre-cooked a lot of dinners before we come. We can just defrost them. So, but I'll quickly show you through how I've got the boat set up and how we've been doing it this time we've been up here so far. I think it's working quite well, and no problem spending probably 5 to 6 days self-sufficient from it until you have to come back here to refuel, maybe some ice, some extra food and bits and pieces. But yeah, it's working absolutely brilliantly. But I'll just show you around. So we've got one table. It's quite a high table, which worked out well because we can put containers up underneath it. We've got a 2-burner cooker with a nice plate and cover and everything on it. One bin for food, one bin for cutlery, etc. All your utensils, esky. There's a couple big deck chairs behind there as well. I've got a lockable door that goes on the cab, so when we're not here we can put our valuables in the cab, lock it up, and when we can just go off and hammer and have a good look around without the worry of anything being stolen. But apparently it's pretty good here, so. But better be safe than sorry. A few other storage areas. Rods, of course. You can never have too many rods. I started off with about 8 and snuck I think about 11 or something in, but wait and see if we get more use out of that. Underneath the floor, this is where I normally would be an esky. It's quite a large insulated underfloor esky. So we've got a toilet bucket that we can use when we're out and doing our overnight stays, etc. There's also a 2-person inflatable kayak in there, and we can use that kayak if we anchor at low tide in any passageways, or even close to some beaches. You may not get right the way into it because of the reefs, etc. So we can blow that up and get on the beaches still without the worry of putting the boat up onto it and doing any damage. That anchor locker here, I've actually got 2 anchors in there. So I've got a Manta Supreme, which I normally run. I've also got a big sand anchor, which has been very handy for us as well. So always pays to carry a few anchors. I do have a reef pick up underneath the bunks as well. I've got more storage up underneath there. Just bits and pieces. We've got shades and water. So we've pretty much filled up before we went. Spent 3 days. It came in real handy. Tackle boxes, drones, bags with camera gear. Obviously this is out for our clothes. And inside the cabin. So this is quite a roomy cabin in here. If you can get a good glimpse of this. So it's actually quite long. I'm 6 foot on the dot and my feet actually don't touch the end. So I have had 3 people in here before. Quite commonly, that's when we do our trips. I normally sleep out in the deck just to keep an eye on everything on our big fishing trips. Lauren made up some curtains for the windows just to stop a bit of light. They've come in handy. She made one for the hatch as well, but we've basically left that and put a fly screen over it. We didn't know how bad the mozzies and midgies, etc. would be. To be honest, we actually haven't found them anywhere, so it's probably wasn't needed, but just in case, so we can obviously put that right up and not worry about it. It's yeah, it's quite cozy and comfy in here. Underneath, another fairly deep storage compartment under here. We've got tackle bags, underwater drone, some more chairs, spare fender, quite a few spares and bits and pieces in there as well. Had some cushions made up recently. Thank you to Clint from Good Line Trim. Thank you, mate. They're absolutely brilliant. Worked out really well. It's good having a full hard top with glass screens. We don't have to worry about the rain, etc. The only downfall is when it does rain or heavy dew, it runs off the corner of the hard top. It'll either hit the side of the gunnels or back in the boat. So I've made up some egg pipe, which sits up underneath it nicely, runs down, back out through the railing here, and it's worked brilliantly. So that's going to save us as well. Live bait tank. Got another tank in here, that's full fiberglass. And for us at the moment, we don't have room to keep many fish on this trip, so what we do catch goes straight in there, a bit of ice on it, and then I'll fillet it. Do keep in mind, if you're going to fillet fish while you're in the boat at sea, the fillets have to be 40 centimetres or longer unless you're going to consume it straight away. So essentially that's what we'll be doing, is catching and eating our fish straight away. Got a bin in that corner. And that's pretty much it, guys. It's a bit of a run through. It's so far been very comfortable, worked out quite well. Not too much I would change, other than maybe a set of full covers that run off the back here. If it does bucket down rain, it doesn't get onto the floor. So, but other than that, loving our trip. See what this weather does. I dare say we'll be stuck in here. There's just so much to see at Hamo, so much to do. You know, there's activities everywhere. We've got the pub right here, if you can see that. Bakery, fish and chip shop, restaurants. Then back over the other side of the marina, you have an IGA and bottle shop. So fuel station there. Fuel's pretty good price-wise. I think the other day I paid $2.36. It was $2.55 or something today. So I think that's pretty reasonable for being up here. But yeah, it's just worked out so well. Power, water, everything just makes it really comfortable. And yeah, we're really going to enjoy our stay. Had so many people come down to us as well. It's been brilliant, so thanks to everyone that's come and said g'day. We've met some really cool people, and you've made our trip even that little bit more special, so thank you very much for that. And we'll see what the rest of the trip brings. After spending a couple of days in the marina due to bad weather, we decided to go for a run up to Cid Harbour area on the Whitsunday Island. Unfortunately, the weather got worse throughout the morning, with loads of rain and gusty wind squalls putting a dampener on our day. Well guys, made it to day 10. Fortunately the wind hasn't dropped out. It's still blowing 20 to 30 knots, if not more. Lots of rain. It bucketed down yesterday. We obviously went to Cid Harbour for a look, and I pretty much drove around all day just keeping the nose into the rain and wind. It was just howling, and it bucketed down. But it's the way it goes. But we'll hope to fit an extra couple of days in, but it's not going to happen. So about to head back over to Early Beach now. We've got an 8 o'clock high tide, so I've tried to match our run over with the top of the tide. Just makes it a lot less rough. So we'll see how we go. So we left Hamilton Island this morning around 6:30. Had a nice run over, wasn't too bad. We're about 4 hours south of Early Beach, and we blew a tyre out on the car. We had a nice little spot to pull off, so that was sweet. Changed the tyre on the car. Didn't even get 2 minutes down the road, and the Bruce Highway is absolutely rooted. I've hit some major big humps and bumps and potholes, and it's just atrocious. Unfortunately, I broke a trailer spring. This is the 3rd time I've broken a trailer spring in 15 odd years. We've tried different things. Manufacturers said don't use gal ones. It weakens them too much. So we've gone steel ones this time without the gal. Unfortunately, it's broken another one. And it's a big job. Once it breaks, it's very hard, depending on where it breaks. Normally it's at the end near the eye. The whole axle comes back, and it's very hard to realign, put a new. I've got a spare axle there, a spare spring, sorry. It's actually broken down near the actual center of the pack, so that's not too bad. It's jammed up against some of the guard and the supports, and started to screw up the tyre a bit, but it's trying to bring that axle back forward. We're on a really bad part of the Bruce Highway here. It probably doesn't show it, but it's actually really steep. I need to come off down into it, but I'm just a bit worried. It's not worth the risk of rolling the boat and car over to try to get it in there. So Rain Clayton's towing, and just to get us not even 2k up the road where there's a spot that's flat ground so I can change it, $2,000. So that ain't happening. So what I've managed to do is get some really big tie-down straps or ratchet straps. Luckily had some really heavy duty ones there. I've gone around the axle itself and tried to bring it back forward away from the supports. I've managed to move it about 1 inch. I've got 2 ratchet straps on there. Coming back down, and unfortunately I can't go around the main supports of the trailer because it's got checker plate and it's all enclosed. So I had to come back to an old support here. I put a shackle on it and runs back up underneath around the spring. I don't know if you guys can see that. Broken right the way down there. So these springs are covered in tectile. That's why they look the way they do, just to try to preserve them and stop any rust, because they are steel and not gal. But yeah, you can see it's broken right down near the axle. So I've pulled it forward enough. Hopefully I can get a slow putt back to some flatter ground further up the highway here. I can take it all apart and change the spring over. Fingers crossed it works. Well guys, we managed to fix the spring. It's taken over 3.5 hours to do it. It's an absolute bloody nightmare. Didn't have to go too far from where I originally broke it and strapped it up to get it to some level ground. We've come into a bit of a farmstead road, and that's been a bit of a blessing because we needed 2 trolley jacks, or 2 jacks in general, and one of the ladies come past from the farm and said she had one in the car, so that's made things a little bit easier just to try realign the axle and spring and everything, because it's very difficult when you break one trying to get it all back aligned. So you need one jack to jack the actual frame of the trailer, another one to get up underneath the spring and the axle to get it aligned. So thank you very much, it absolutely saved our butts. Anyway, we've got it done. About to put the wheel back on, keep going. Just hope we don't break another one. These roads up here are just atrocious. As soon as we hit a really big dip, that's when I noticed it broke. So fingers crossed we don't do another one and we get home with no more hassles. I can't believe we did a tyre and less than 2 minutes later we've done a trailer spring. Anyway, character building. Hey babe.
Yep.
She's sick of me saying that. Well guys, we've made it back home. It was a trouble-free run after we fixed that spring, thank God. What an absolute awesome trip, but we had an absolute blast, and what a dead set paradise to be. We can't wait to go back and do it all again. Hopefully this video gives you a great idea on how to go about it if you'd like to do something similar yourself. I'd highly recommend it. It was brilliant. I think it's quite an economical way to cruise around and explore the Whitsundays and also Hamilton Island. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, tight lines.